Welcome back to another episode of our Wyckoff crypto discussion. As usual, today we will study the crypto market through the lens of the Wyckoff method. This information is for educational purpose only, is not investment recommendation. Please stop the video and read the disclaimer. We have just launched our Discord channel. Here's the link to join our group. It will be free until March. You will find our market updates on cryptos, Bitcoin, crypto indexes, low-cap altcoins. I would definitely recommend to watch Roman's video updates. I think this is a great opportunity to see the Wyckoff method in action. I'm working on the selection process, the altcoin market, and this is also a great place where you can discuss about tactics with other traders. So, Roman, are you excited for this project?
Well, I am excited, and at the same time, I feel like there is so much to do. So I really appreciate all of you who are already on our Discord, and there is a very lively discussion about, a lot of crypto assets. So it really pleases me to see that there are so many people that already know methodology to a certain degree, and there are a lot of beginners as well. Which we welcome. And we were just discussing with Alessio that, yes, we will have some kind of basic knowledge in the Discord group as well. So you will not feel left out.
Great. So now it's time to analyze the market. So what do you see here? Very interesting week for cryptos and market in general. The S&P, after some momentum slowdown, is currently retesting the top of the capitulation bar. This is a very important level. So if price stops here and consolidates around this level, this would be an example of vertical absorption. But if the support fails, we could come back into the range. In the meanwhile, the dollar is showing weakness. In our last Wyckoff crypto discussion, we've anticipated this price action, an attempt to come back to the most significant supply level, followed by a quick rejection. That was a nice call. And then Bitcoin, once again, is taking advantage of the weakness of the US dollar, and in the last weeks, the news cycle about Elon Musk has generated a lot of interest. And generally, every time I see a price action heavily influenced by news, I always want to wait for a test. Yesterday's test was quite constructive on the close, but price must show some follow-through after the test in order to break to the upside. So if price fails here, there are two scenarios. More consolidation in phase B, which could materialize as a trading range on the top of this big structure, or a gentle reaction, as Roman would say. And I think this is a point where we want to be very tactical, because both scenarios are extremely exhausting for short sellers, for intraday traders in particular. There's nothing more unnerving, I think, than trying to short sell the first sign of price deterioration in a good rally in phase B with strength in the background. So I think that a good strategy here is to focus on the altcoin market and look for strong candidates, which could be the next outperformance in the current bull market. And we have seen so many candidates in the last week, so many altcoins that have shown, like Binance Coin, phenomenal gains. So, Roman, your thoughts?
Well, I would agree, Alessio, with the tactical preference at this point. If you're not in the position, let's say if you're trading Bitcoin and you don't have any positions, what's your position? I'd say that you're still thinking long-term targets that are above 50,000. There is no doubt about that. So far, current consolidation has proven to be more of the reaccumulation nature than of the distributional nature. If you are a swing trader, I think you have more flexibility, but that flexibility has to come from you. That flexibility has to come from your understanding that there is a lot of volatility in the trading range, and you have to follow that volatility. You have to follow that momentum. So look for the very short-term setups around the points of isolation, support and resistance, and then take your bets there at those points. And consider that those bets are going to be short-term oriented bets until you switch them into the long-term position, like a long-term campaign position, once there is a confirmation that indeed the price is confirming continuation of this long-term campaign.
So crypto indexes, as you can see, the shitcoin index is outperforming right now. And I think that this is the index where we have to find our candidates to the long side. While the DeFi index is still trying to break out this resistance, but the last two attempts have selling tail, so I would be very cautious here. Your remarks, Roman?
Yeah, I really like the idea of small caps right now. As I started, what has it been on? Let's see, a week or two. This is the second week. Was the Discord,
Second
right?
week.
Yeah, second week. So I'm going through this market each day now. And you definitely have seen in this area, and we put this into the videos, and Alessio has a lot of flashcard, market updates daily, that the small cap started to outperform. So right away, go into that space, look for something in that space, and figure out what is breaking out, what is showing some strength, and that would be your trade. There is really not a lot to the selection in this. And yeah, it's kind of interesting how DeFi is stalling a little bit here. So there is less demand that's coming in. There is some selling. So Alessio, would you be thinking that we're in the trading range right here?
Yes, for me, we are still in phase B on Bitcoin and the index. This is my view. So
okay, I like these tails here. So there right away tells us that there is less sell. There was selling, and then selling diminishes, and then those tails are demand tails. So still, everything that you look in the crypto space looks extremely bullish.
So this was a flashcard that I published this morning on our Discord channel. So basically, this is an idea for intraday traders that I know that many intraday traders in these days are looking for a local top in Bitcoin. And the point here is that when you are looking for like a short-term short selling position, you always have to be aware of the areas where supply was coming in. And for example, what do you see here? Basically, on Bitcoin, the first chart on the top, you see that low supply on a very important supply zone in the London session has produced this very fast rally into the next supply level. In this way, many people that were like shorting Bitcoin right away were trapped. So you have to be very, very tactical at this point. And I think that this all-time resistance that we see right now is very important. And if we see a rejection here, that would be a critical level for Bitcoin. But at the same time, look at the shitcoin index. This could be a potential baking up action on this previous support resistance level. What do you think, Roman?
Well, yeah, I absolutely agree with Alessio on the selling zone, right? So supply occurs, increases, so this is where they capitulate. Basically, all of the people, and we've talked about this, Alessio, right? We said that we're going to see the lower low. Why? Because a lot of people, after this failures to continue to the upside, are going to give up. So here is their capitulation that produces that lower low. My point about short-term trading here is this: trade this setup, trade this setup right here, trade this setup on the breakout, trade this setup as it develops. As we have more data, more testing, and some kind of deterioration. If you're thinking that it's going to go lower. And then if you're still in this position, continue with this position until you have a more meaningful change of behavior, and then you can change your tactics. Shitcoin is very interesting, right, Alessia? I mean, change of behavior for sure, and now we just like overcoming this resistance in such a meaningful way. Would you say that you would be expecting some kind of comeback at least to this level of the support, or even maybe
Yes,
coming
yes,
back into?
that would be a very nice breaking up action, like a test on the resistance.
Kind
That
of
would
a
be
weird
very.
structure, like feels unfinished,
Mhm.
on not completely done. What about DeFi? I mean, like this action here is not that constructive. This is not a sign of strength by any means. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's DeFi index is underperforming. It's quite natural because in the DeFi index we have so many overvalued assets. Basically, we have a lot of assets like $100, $500 in just a couple of weeks. I think that they need to rest at this point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Polkadot, I think it's one of the large cap which is outperformed the market. Very interesting price action. So basically, this is an upsloping trading range on the top of another big structure. So generally, this kind of structure tend to outperform the market. And Bitcoin, we'll see many examples. For example, Aave was outperforming the market and basically a very similar structure to Polkadot today. Your Max or mine?
Well, I like Polkadot, and I comment on Polkadot. This is what Alessia gave me as an assignment, so I'm dutifully fulfilling my commitment. So I really like it in the way how momentum has increased here, how the upsloping structure is developing, how the volume is coming in. So that just tells us that, yeah, they want to be in large caps. And I wonder, my question, Alessia, here, what do you think about this? Just comparing it to the Bitcoin, if Polkadot is going to continue going up, I mean, I would start questioning why would Bitcoin not continue going up right at this point without even having a much deeper reaction here. I mean, that could be a possibility. What do you think?
Yes, it's still a possible scenario. I think that Bitcoin right now, you just should wait for more confirmation at this point because several times we see that Bitcoin is like having strength in phase A and phase B, and then in phase C there is a normal underperformance. So the point is that timing the emergence of the new uptrend for Bitcoin could be trickier than we think. So
All right. Well, definitely let's seek confirmation from both.
this is a beautiful structure on audio, and I published here this analog with FTT or FTX, and so a long-term upsloping structure. And as you can see here, the selling of the last few days basically has not affected the structure of audio. So that's a very interesting element of comparative strength with the market. I also look at this analog. So basically, FTT was absorbing for a long time supply on the way up, and then look at the beautiful acceleration to the upside. This asset basically was running from $3 to $20, so impressive.
Mm-hmm. A couple of things here. So this is a very interesting spot. So this is where supply is coming in. We could see this from the volume signature. It's a hidden supply, but you could see this also from the supply tails. It's when the price hits the resistance and there is some selling. So you're gonna have those type of moments, like this one, like this one, like this one right here. So what is our analysis here? How would we overcome this? Well, first of all, you want to recognize either increase or decrease of that supply. That would usually suggest that supply is being absorbed at that higher level. So look at this. The last time, this is very important attempt to break out, because after this, the price went down, significantly consolidated for some time. Another attempt, we're seeing more result in the way of how the bar is being shaped. So supply is still capable of producing a movement to the downside. Now, supply is slightly less than in both cases, 1 and 2. So in case number 3, we're seeing attempt to go through on slightly diminishing supply. So that's bullish. And then also the result to the upside is more bullish at 3 than the result to the upside than at 2. And that's how absorption is happening at this higher level. So this was a very interesting spot to initiate the position just on that absorption character with anticipation that we're going to accelerate. Okay.
So 1 inch. So we have this beautiful structure with an apex formation on the top of this trading range. And I think this formation is very constructive because basically I do not see any sign of supply whatsoever in this chart. What do you think, Roman?
Yeah, so supply is coming in somewhere at the end of this move. This is where volume increases, stopping action, and then look at the change of behavior relative to this last move to the upside. This is just nothing. Also reminds me, Alessio, a little bit of the Bitcoin. So let's say that Bitcoin, is somewhere here, right? So I think what we're talking about in Bitcoin is that in phase B, you could have that type of upthrust action as a minor sign of strength, meaning that the price will temporarily commit above and then will go and come back under the resistance and go into a higher low. So that's why, in all of the scenarios that I'm drawing, is just like a gentle slope down and then recovery, something like this. So this could be also, in a way, kind of like the analog for the Bitcoin. But, we need to see if there's going to be some confirmation on the attempt to recover right away. And yes, I would agree. This is just a very interesting looking structure. I like this bar because this is the last supply that comes that needs to be absorbed. So those are elements of phase C. So it seems to me that we're in phase D and it's some kind of sign of strength. Alessio?
Yes, I'm here. So I really like this chart. And this is one of my best candidates when in Roman.
But it's not on Kraken. I'm going to explain in a second why we're joking about this. All right, let's go to the next one. Also a very beautiful structure. Look at that.
Yes, I really like Tezos because this is a kind of huge structure. So we are starting basically last year, so 1 year of reaccumulation. And look at the late price action here. There's a lot of absorption the way up in the last weeks. Mm-hmm. So basically, would like to see some kind of major sign of strength, followed by a very short breaking up action, because this is an apex formation. We do not expect to see like a huge reaction, and then we should be ready to go. Also, what I found really interesting here is the fact that look at the underperformance compared to Bitcoin that we have on the bottom chart. So on the bottom chart, we see the spread chart, Thesis versus Bitcoin. So it's like a perfect downtrend channel. And right now, there's evidence of accumulation on the Thesis Bitcoin chart. And this is a phenomenon that's very interesting because we could even calculate the PNF chart here and look how much potential we have for outperformance. And that would be a very, very interesting case study. I think that we'll do that in the next week.
So is Tezos on Kraken?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So this I like. And the reason why I keep asking Alessio is because I finally, after all of these years that Alessio was pushing me to do so, opened an account on Kraken with Alessio's help. The account is funded. It's real money. And what we're going to do on the Discord is we're going to launch the trade of that account. So I'm going to be asking you guys what kind of selection you would propose. I'm only on Kraken, so you can't give me like 1 inch that is on, let's say, Binance or some other exchange. You only have to guide me to the assets that are going to be on Kraken. And as you give me your selection candidates, I'm going to pick the ones that I like the most, and then I will report to you what kind of entries and exits and stop losses I had. So this is going to be in real time, to the degree of my availability, obviously. I'll be happy to share the numbers for the account. So probably it's going to be somewhat exciting, and most likely we're going to start on the free platform, and then we're going to move that exercise into the paid subscribers. But Alessio, again, what I like in the leading groups and leading stocks and leading cryptos is to see this in the middle of the trading range, because this acts as that minor sign of strength. This tells us that there is buying even when a change of behavior happens. And also what this does, it has a very purposeful functionality for the trading range. And I know that for the beginners, it's really hard to see and to understand. But in very simplistic terms, this upthrust action is all about absorption at the higher level. We need to absorb the supply at this higher level, and supply is increasing at this point, in order for us here to go through this cleanly and to break out. Because if there's still going to be availability of the supply that is of the same quality as the change of behavior and as on the upthrust, we would stall and we would come back. If there is no supply or limited supply, then our backing up action is going to be less vertically down and more horizontal, and our sign of strength will have the ability to overcome previous levels of the resistance. Very, very important concept on the absorption. And I absolutely love this comparison with Bitcoin. Yes, it just kind of suggests, and Alessio, is Tezos a small cap?
No, it's still a big cap
Big
compared
cap,
to.
okay. Yeah. So, but we kind of see that. So, for instance, Chainlink, right? Or Polkadot. Well, Polkadot is more mid cap, but some of the I think the link, Chainlink, is interesting relative to the Bitcoin. So, there is some what I'm observing, Alessio, and please concur with me or not. Some kind of diversification amongst even big caps right now. So it's not just Bitcoin, it's everything else is also being picked up.
Yes, and the great thing is that we have anticipated this diversification a few months ago, where we were talking about rotation to crypto assets. So that's a great thing, because these assets, when they move really moves. So.
All right.
And the last candidate for today, Kusama. Well, I really like the comparative strength right here, because even though the last 3-day bars, so we are looking at the very long-term structure here as a supply tail here, volume is not extreme, and the comparative strength is fantastic, I think. So I think there is potential to go higher. Maybe some testing action is required here, but the overall structure, I think, is constructive. What do you think, Roman?
Yeah, uptrend. These 2 bars suggesting the conclusion of the sign of strength in the climactic manner. Backing up action is actually slightly high, which shows strength in itself. Very quickly moving asset. Wow, from 25 to 150. That's a lot of movement. Yeah, looks like in the uptrend. So how would you trade this? Probably going into a smaller time frame. So this is 3 days. Go to 1 day first, and then go to 4 hours. So I really like 4 hours for just currencies in general. And I mean like fiat currencies in general. And then 4 hours works really well. I think, Alessio, 4 hours works really well. It's just because 24 hours in a day, so it's 6 sessions of 4 hours. So that works out. What's your take on the 4 hour time frame? Why is it
It's
so?
it's my favorite time frame on crypto since the beginning, because this is very fast market. So basically, the 4 hour is like the daily chart on the stock market. This is what I think. So.
All right. Well, with this, thank you so much for watching, guys. It's always fun to connect with Alessio and to create those videos. Check out the Discord group. We're still settling in, but Alessio is very active there, and I'm posting, my videos almost each day. We're posting something each day from Monday to Friday. So it's kind of very exciting. For now, everything is free. So take this opportunity to connect with us, and we will be happy to have you in our community.